Hello, my loves. I am Danielle Mercurio, the host of my so-called spiritual life, and I'm so stoked that you're here. I hope you're feeling well, and if you're not feeling well, I hope that you can feel better by the end of our time together. I love to bridge the gap between cosmic intelligence and using that intel to help you have a little bit more awareness into what some of the current patterns are so that you can then expand deeper into your life and really get the message, so to speak, that's being directed at us. And of course, this knowledge, this understanding, this information, whenever you hear it, is exactly when you're supposed to. That's the beauty of all of this as well. So often we get very attached to this idea with like astrology of like a horoscope, not so much the newspaper ones, because I'm going to be real with you, they're not even accurate. So like when you're checking your newspaper horoscope, not only, I mean, I don't want to say they're not accurate from the space, like I don't know who's writing them, so praise be to them, but horoscopes are written based off your rising sign. So um, if you're checking for your sun sign, well, if you have the same sun and rising sign, then you're golden. If you don't, well, it'll kind of be true, but not fully. And also from that space, we don't want to put this pressure on ourselves around making sure we make the most of the cosmic time that we have, because that's not the point either. The point is to notice it, reflect on it, have it as an awareness, and then utilize it. Be curious, observe it. So often we're so used to, because of the way that we were raised, because of our education system, we're taught something and then we're immediately told to implement it. Then we're tested on it. Then we're graded on it. And it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can we just be given a concept and decide for ourselves what we want to do with it, as opposed to feeling like we have to memorize it or do it right or get tested or graded or showcase some kind of performance around it or have some kind of expectation or result based on it? Oh my gosh. Like, how stressful was our educational system growing up to put those kind of demands on us and then to feed that into adulthood? Because we see it in corporations, we see it in the workplace, we see it in family dynamics, we see it in our relationships, we see it with our own selves. And we want to eradicate that. And that's really where we are right now. Where we are right now is like the next level of egoic shedding. Okay. If you're listening in real time, I'm talking to you in the beginning of June 2021, and we're in a eclipse season. We have an upcoming new moon solar eclipse in Gemini happening on June 10th. We have some planets retrograding. Two social planets, Pluto and Saturn, are retrograding. A personal planet, Mercury, is retrograding. And what all of this is asking us, what this is really saying is, don't try harder to meet the demands of the planets. Don't try harder to meet the demands of your life even. Try less to be so on, to be so in focus, to be so in this big picture actualization of who you desire to be, and be willing to put all that to the side. During this time, are you willing to put to the side your productivity, your goals, your big dreams, even your higher self, so that you can focus on the part of you that's ready to die, the part of you that's ready to go, the part of you that's ready to walk away? That's what this period is asking you. Can you pause from your ascension, if you will, from your higher self, from your expanding life, and take a moment and say, I love tapping into my highest potential. However, if I continue to dwell in that space, I will never get to the root of the thing that will always sabotage it. It's like a slow leak in a tire, right? It's like you can still drive and you can still get forward and you can still get to your destination, but there is a leak and it's slowly seeping out air. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, womp, we get a flat tire. And how many times has that happened to you in your life where you're like, You haven't really gotten to the root of things, but you're like, I just got to keep going. I got to keep going because that's what we're taught. Keep going, keep going. Don't let anybody know that you're scared. Don't ask for help. Go, 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 go. And then wham, flat tire. And you're like, oh, womp, womp. Why doesn't it work out for me? And this is saying, let's address the slow leak before it becomes a flat tire. Okay. So this is about this idea of, again, stepping to the side of everything you want and being willing to be in everything you don't want. Be willing to be in the temper tantrum that your ego may be having right now. A lot of people are noticing old patterns resurfacing. Okay. Things happening. And the way that patterns surface a lot of times, it's not like obvious, like, oh, here's that pattern with my mother again, or here's this pattern showing up through my partner. It's often like, why am I broke again? Why am I single again? Why did I, stop working out again? Why am I, bored at my job again? Right? Like there's these, it's almost like the pattern surfaces as a, why am I in this spot again? Why am I acting this way again? Why is this happening to me again? Okay. Why were things going really great and now I'm in the underbelly of it? What is going on here? Because most likely, if something's happening to you in that sphere, it's probably happened to you before. And nature has a way of just honoring cycles. And so if you go through a cycle, let's take money, where every time you come into money and you make a good amount, you find yourself very shortly after broke again. Okay? That's a cycle that your life is honoring. Okay, when it comes to money, you make a lot, then you don't make any. You make a lot, then you don't make any. And you might find yourself in that position right now, right? Same with relationships. You fall in love and then they leave you. You fall in love and then they leave you. Okay? Same thing. Working out. You get into really great shape, you're eating really healthy, then you're on the couch eating bonbons. Okay, that's the cycle. Okay? You work on your goals, you're getting all this stuff going, you hired a coach, next thing you know, you don't want to be held accountable anymore, you don't want to follow through, you don't care anymore. Okay? These are cycles that we see surface. This is what we mean when we say patterns. Okay? Reoccurring cycles that your life is honoring because it's woven into the framework of your existence. Okay? This is what we want to yank. We want to yank out the part that's like, okay, now I'm broke. Okay, now I'm back on the couch eating Chinese food. Now I'm single and alone. Now I'm back to yelling at my kids again. Now I'm not performing well at work. Now I'm losing sight of my dreams. That part of you is ready to die. But the problem is that part of you still feels like it's needed because it feels like it knows that it's part of the cycle. You've made a life of believing that it is important and it is valuable to make money and to be broke, to be in love and to be single, to be healthy and to be unhealthy, to do really well at work and not do well at work. You've made a pattern, a framework of believing this is true. So therefore, both parts feel necessary in your life. It feels just as necessary to be abundant as to be broke. It feels just as necessary to be in love as it is to be alone. Okay? We want to kill the part that is not serving you, that is sabotaging the process, that is holding you back, that is making you not good enough. Okay? But that part of you still feels like it has a role. So when you say you got to go, that part of you is like, wait, what do you mean I got to go? I got a job here. I got roots here. I got a whole little setup here. What do you mean you're going to take me away? What do you mean you're evicting me? What do you mean you're killing me off from this storyline that is my life? Think about this. So what's going to happen? That's our ego, right? Our ego wants to survive, and our ego has learned ways to survive. It's learned to survive by some of these patterns that we're noticing, okay? And so when we say ego, you got to go, it's like, but wait, I've gotten you this far. So you get broke sometimes. So you lose inspiration sometimes. So you fight with your spouse sometimes. Meh, you're still surviving, right? You're still alive. I've kept you going. Why are you killing me off? Why are you writing me out of this storyline, out of this TV series? What do you mean? Right? Think about TV shows where certain characters die off and people are like alarmed, like, oh my God, I can't believe they killed so and so. I can't believe they wrote off this character. I can't believe, and I can't think of an example, but I know we've had it, right? Where we're just like, what the F? Are you kidding me? Right? Why did Felicity cut her hair? Oh my God. You know, because we become attached to certain things. And when that gets taken away, we get, and then we kind of want it back. We miss it. We miss the feelings of self-sabotage. We miss the feelings of loneliness. We miss the feelings of rejection because they are in our cellular makeup now. So when they, you know, when it's time to kill them off, it stings. It hurts. There's grieving. Okay, it's not so simple as just to say, okay, I'm going to shed this. I'm going to release this. Okay, that's the first step. Oh, I'm going to take a day off and restore. Okay, good luck. Good luck taking a day off to restore a lifetime of this. Okay, oh, I'm just going to go to my healer for a day. I'm going to go get a massage. I'm going to go get a chakra realignment, and then I'll be fine. That's not enough. Because it's not enough because we didn't really get to sit in the feelings of what we're really ready to say goodbye to. And further, we're not sitting in the feelings of grief, disappointment, and chaos. Okay, when it's time for the ego, and it's time for this part of us to go, there's a lot of chaos. I like picture this person like flailing around us, being like, what do you mean? Why me? Or like drowning in the water, like, no, don't let me go. And it feels really erratic and it feels really scary and it feels really overwhelming. And a bath isn't going to be enough. We might have to take 10 baths. We might have to go to 10 energy sessions. We might have to go and take a few weeks off. That's why Mercury retrograde is 3 freaking weeks. It's not one day. It's not saying, oh, just hit pause for a day. It's like literally take these 3 weeks. And you can, if we're not in a Mercury retrograde, anytime you're like 21 days, take 21 days. I forget how many days they say to form a habit. Isn't it something like that? Right? It doesn't happen overnight. So stop believing that you can fix a lifetime of trauma overnight. You can't, but you can fix it in the long run if you're willing to lean on faith. Okay, I think sometimes we get faith confused with, oh, I'm just going to have faith and things are going to work out. Yes. I'm going to have faith and I'm going to get what I want. Yes. Okay, that's all true. But in order for things to work out, in order for you to get what it is that you want, you need to lean on your faith to sit with the things that haven't allowed you to let things work out, that haven't allowed you to get what you want. And if you can be in that faith, you're really allowing yourself to be nurtured from a really beautiful higher place. You're allowing yourself to make a practice in times of discomfort, in times when the ego is kicking and screaming, to stay in your heart, to stay in peace, to be patient, to find acceptance of this is what it is right now. I know it won't be forever. And I know that if I continue to be kind and compassionate during this time, I know soon enough I will be done with this phase for good. Because if I keep trying to slap a Band-Aid on this, if I keep trying to outrun it, the chaos will continue. The pain will continue. Okay? I'll continue to revert back to fear, jealousy, confusion. And this is like we are saying, like, this ends now. These patterns end now. It's time to lay to rest the frequencies and the situations and the circumstances that don't serve you. It's time to realize, yes, I have a big picture. And you will get to that big picture. However, the contrast of that is what's really needing your attention right now. The contrast of everything you want needs you more right now than your dedication, motivation, focus to the goals. Okay? You're going to find that you're going to burn out. you're going to find that, you're just, it's not going to be enough to be sustainable. You have to realize that your ego is not smart enough to maintain the life you truly desire. Your past trauma, your past versions of yourself that are still hurt and wounded, they aren't going to be resourceful and strong enough to keep you going in the end when it comes to really wanting more for yourself, really wanting your life to spill over with love and joy and ease and happiness. We have to be willing, though, to go to the contrast of that. We have to be willing to come from a place of nurture, to come from a place of allowing our true faith to be taken care of, to be supported during a time of shedding. And not from an obsessive place, right? This doesn't mean now you have to run around and be, the self-care aficionado or aficionado. What's that word? I don't know. Just Mr. Self-care person, whatever. I'm not getting that right, but you know what I mean. I'm basically, what I'm trying to say is, don't. Sometimes it's very easy for us to. I know it's clicking with you right now, right? It's clicking. Things are clicking. In less than 15 minutes, you're having aha moments. But then we don't want to give away like a false power to the self-care. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't want to give away false power to self-care, because that's not totally what this is about either. Some of this is just going to literally be taking a pause. Okay. And I share some of this from my own experience, right? Like going through it myself, needing to hit the pause button on certain things, and needing to just be in the stillness, the confusion that dwelled within the stillness, the antsiness, the I'm going to be forgotten, the this isn't really working, the is this really serving me, the am I just wasting time, the I should be doing more. I had to sit with all those feelings and not do anything about it. I had to sit with I should be doing more and do nothing. Okay? And really look at that and really reflect on where that was coming from. Why I'm so antsy and eager to fill things back up as soon as I empty them. And I do that in a lot of different areas in my life. And I do it when I'm happy, I'm doing it when I'm sad. I love to be like, ooh, everything's going really well. Let me stuff it with more. Or everything's really shitty. Let me stuff it up. And I'm done with that. I want to be a beautiful, clear bowl sometimes. A beautiful, clear container, because that's where we gain clarity. By creating space within our vessel and using that spacious time to be in our heart and be patient and kind and practice peace, then things can restore. That's where that old cycle can fade out. That's where that wound can detach. That's where that little gremlin that lives inside of you that's super chaotic can be released. There's room even. Like think about, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna be gross. Like think about like a leech or something that's like stuck on you. Well, if we were able to like I don't know if I'm saying this right, but like I want us to like think about this idea of like if we were able to shrink down like all the space that like leech is taking up, then it can't take up as much space anymore. It can't even like hold on anymore. So then it just kind of floats and flies away. That's kind of what I want you to think about when we're thinking about these things. You know what they are deep down. Um, we want to think about what it means to take time to be patient. Think about, and I don't know best practices when it comes to being a parent, but I remember like when I was younger and like growing up, there were certain, like I was the oldest of four. I used to babysit. And there would be times when like the baby was crying, right? It was time to go to bed and the baby was crying, or, the baby would wake up and it would cry. And like, you would have to sit for a few minutes and really like see if that cry was actually like worthy of like, oh my God, I need to go tend to this baby, or if it's something the baby just needed to work out for a few minutes, right? And that's kind of what we have to do with ourselves. There are times where it's like, oh my gosh, I am screaming, I am crying out for help, and someone needs to come in and help me. And then there are other times where you're going to be screaming and crying out for help and it's just going to, clear out on its own. Can you be willing to be like those times where the baby is crying in the room and you can hear the baby crying and it hurts so bad to hear this baby crying. But you know that if you just give it a couple minutes, it'll settle down and it will be able to go back to sleep. Okay? Where can you do that to yourself, right? Where can you kind of hold that space in your life? Really important. Okay? Again, we want to surrender the mind, surrender these patterns, surrender past circumstances, so that we're surrendering the cycles that don't serve us. And we are not creating reoccurring patterns in our life. We want to pull in spirit to help us. Okay? We want to step to the side of our higher functioning self and say, not now. Dreams are going to flourish, but for right now, they're on pause. Right now, they're taking a temporary hold so we can clean up. Okay, but there's a little bit of cleaning up. There's a little bit of maintenance that needs to happen. You know, it's summertime when the pool gets closed for maintenance. That's important. Yeah, I know you want to go play and be in the pool and splash around, but if we don't close that pool for a little bit of maintenance, we don't clean up, that pool's going to be a mess. There's going to be pee in there, leaves, bugs, random animals from around. You know, all the film from people's sunscreen, oils, ugh, ugh, right? So you gotta clean that out. You gotta filter it. Okay. This is what this time is for. Again, I don't care when you're listening. Right now, if you're listening, this is what this time is for you. It's time to shed. It's time to fully shed that part of you that you are so aware of now, right? I feel like this past year, it's really come to the surface. You can't say, oh, I'm perfect. I don't understand. You know the things in your life that aren't working out. Think about some things in your life that don't seem to be working out, that don't seem to be lining up, that keep getting you right back to where you started again. That's what we want to pinpoint, and that's what we want to drop and say goodbye. And I know you're intelligent enough to be aware of this. It's, are you resilient enough? Are you grounded enough? And are you patient enough to let it go? Okay, the ego does not like death. It came here to keep you alive. So when you try to kill it, it's going to put up a fight. It is going to kick and scream because that is its job. And you have to sit with it like that baby that's crying and find a place within your heart to be patient and kind and soft and almost nurture it away. That's what I have to do. I have to say, oh my goodness, you crazy, wild little beast. Oh, you're something. I don't quite even have the words for you. However, we're done in this lifetime. We're done. I see what the potential the rest of my lifetime carries, and I'm exhausted by you. I'm done. I'm over it. This isn't sustainable. I've tried to find ways to make this work for both of us, but it's not working out. So I'm finding a way to work you out of my life. Goodbye. Sayonara. Maybe in the next life we have more work to do, but in this one we're done. We are complete. Complete. Okay? Think about this. Hold on to this. This is big. You know, in our life, apparently I saw this on TikTok. We shed 40 pounds of skin in our lifetime. 40 pounds. I don't even, oh, that's so gross. But like, can you imagine that like 40-pound blob of skin that you shed in your life? Well, clearly there was a reason, right? We might not like it, we don't see it, right? Like I've never really noticed me shedding skin sometimes, right? Sometimes on your feet or like if you've gotten a little bit too much sun, right? There's been moments where you can notice a little bit of shedding, but like, do you think you've witnessed 40 pounds of shedding in your life? Probably not. It happened slowly. It happened in its own time. And that's kind of like what, is happening here. It's like, you're not going to be able to see it, but like it's happening. Okay. And when you look back at your life and when you look back at your life and be like, whoa, I shed a lot, not just actual skin, but egoic skin as well. Look how many lives of my ego I let go of. Whoa. And it may not be tangible, but it happened. Okay. And this is about, allowing yourself to be, again, which is hard for us, in a space of not knowing what awaits us on the other side of it, because that can be really scary too. It's like, okay, I'm going to hit pause, and the hope is that by hitting pause and letting this go, I'll get to the other side and I'll be able to get back to my dreams and they'll be better than ever. But you might be feeling confused. You might be feeling unsure. You might not have a sense of that. And that's okay. Because again, right now, you might not be feeling clarity. You might not be feeling creative because that is not what's being asked of you. You are not being asked to be creative right now, or inspired right now, or clear right now. You are being asked to shed. And we don't want to distract you by giving you all these great ideas. So you have to put, again, your higher ideas, your big picture to the side and set your ego free. And while you're doing that, you may not feel creative. You may not feel inspired. You may not feel super motivated to do anything. Good, because there's a part of you that's literally dying off. And that's kind of a big deal. And that takes a lot of energy. And then from that space, we become the clear bowl. We have the clarity. We have the freedom. We have the space to move forward. Okay. And I share this all just, from my own experience as well. I've been on the road since January, leaving behind my home in Philadelphia, knowing that I needed to change things up, knowing that I wasn't running away, but I also knew that there was a lot of chaos in my life that I was learning, that I wanted to use this time on the road to heal from and to bring more awareness to. And I don't think I was quite getting it the first couple of months, which is fine, right? Like, I mean, that's part of it, right? Like if you're running a life in a chaotic fashion, when you change up your environment, more chaos is likely going to ensue, which was what was happening. And then in February, I fell and I broke my right foot. And our feet have to do with details, have to do with being too stuck in what we're doing and trying to move things forward. And that's totally where I was. As much as I was like, I want to heal, I want to become more aware of, certain holes in my life and certain patterns, I still wanted the answers. I still wanted to get to the final destination. I still wanted to have it figured out. And I was so desperate to figure it out that I actually wasn't figuring it out. I actually wasn't in the route of where I needed to be. So by breaking my right foot, my driving foot, okay, so I couldn't even drive the car even if it had a slow leak. Broke my driving foot, put on bed rest, right? And in that process, ever since February, I have literally been unpacking and exploring this part of me that is so driven by the go, 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 do, be seen, be on, have this, have that, that I never really gave myself a chance to have that practice of compassion and kindness and patience to honor some parts of me that were broken. I broke my foot to see energetically what was broken inside of me. And what was broken inside of me were stories around this idea of I can only have what I want temporarily. I can only follow through just so much. I can only do this to this point because if I get too big, this might happen. There was a broken part of me that had been humiliated when I was younger, and I was taking that fear of humiliation with me. Okay. Once I started to realize all of that, once I stopped moving things forward to get what I want for temporary satisfaction, I found space. I found freedom. And I found a way to shed those parts of me that felt unworthy, humiliated, distracted, not good enough. And it's kind of a big deal. And then last night, I feel like last night was like because I've really been in it. I feel like this month in particular, or should I say like end of May, really felt like the climax. I was actually saying to my friend last night, I was like, ooh, I'm in the climax of my shedding right now. I'm in the climax of what's been going on since the start of 2021. I'm like, I'm peaking. I'm having that rush of euphoria. Because that's the thing too. We have to realize, like, when you die, you die. And apparently there's this rush of euphoria. There's these chemicals and things that are released that make you feel really good, right? So the death happens, and the death could be painful. I don't really know what it feels like to die, but I imagine there is some pain involved. But then from that pain, there's a place of relief. I mean, even think about it. You might have had that in your life in times when you've hurt yourself, or been kind of in that rush of things. Like, it's really painful, but then it's really pleasurable, right? Not that we want to make a pattern out of pain and pleasure, but because that can be an addiction as well, and that can be unhealthy. But I'm saying it from the space of my journey, reaching this point of pleasure that was natural. It felt like yesterday I was just in this euphoric shift that really allowed me to feel happiness in love for no reason, for just existing. That was the reason, right? For no material reason, let's put it that way, for no financial reason, for no companionship reason. I just literally, and I feel like I'm going to cry right now, like operating from this new level of euphoria and happiness and love that comes from the persistent practice of being willing to be in the shedding, of being willing to be in my heart, of being willing to be confused, of being willing to not be in the spotlight, to not need constant validation, so that I could get to this place of pure presence and just being content right now and feeling the pleasure that lives in there, feeling the unique sense of happiness that may come, feeling the recognition of why we're here all along. And last night, I tripped, like not like even that hard. It was like, I wouldn't even call it a trip really. But the only reason I'm saying it's just it's like there was like a little pivot in my walk. I noticed, I looked down, my pink, I hope this doesn't gross anyone out, my pinky nail on my right foot fell off. And I was like, oh, because where I broke my foot was right under my pinky toe. Okay. So I broke my foot right under my pinky toe, and on my right foot. And when that fell off, I was like, and it didn't, it wasn't like creepy or bloody or gross or anything. It was like a clean, like, whoop, there goes the nail. And I'm not saying that's great. I mean, I definitely did a moment where I Googled, I'm like, am I all right? Am I gonna, is everything okay with my foot? But and once I went to the Google, and they're like, yeah, it happens. I went back to myself, and I was like, okay, this is so symbolic. This is so symbolic of me shedding, of me recognizing so much of the completion of what I've been doing over these past few months. And I'm not saying it's over, right? I'm just at the peak. I just reached the climax of it. And that little toenail shedding was symbolic for me. And so I share that with you just to share my process, and to encourage you, like, to just go for it. Like, now more than ever, please just freaking go for it. And I know it's going to be uncomfortable, and I know it's not going to feel good. And I know it's not great to like look at the places in your life where you've harmed yourself, where you've wronged yourself, where you've like chosen to repeat cycles and patterns. But like, I want you to realize it's not all your fault. We operate in ways we don't even realize, but now you're aware. Now you're in recognition mode. Now you're really seeing, and now you have a responsibility. So, sorry. Welcome to waking up. You now have a responsibility to really look at this and address this, and I really want you to start to eliminate it. Eliminate the places in your life that are still operating from chaos, that are still operating from distraction, that are still operating from fear and jealousy and I'm not going to make it. Because there's still a part of you that thrives off of all of those things. There's a part of you that is dependent on fear, jealousy, I'm not going to make it. And we need to get rid and eradicate those codependent tendencies on parts of your cycle you don't want, so that we can get back up to the flip side of the parts you do want. Partnership, work goals, have goals, right? Like, we don't want to be so in the big picture that we're just like, I'm just here to exist and be loved, because you're also here to be human and accomplish things. And that has meaning to you, right? Get back to the things that have meaning that you want to accomplish in your life by getting rid of the ones that don't, that you didn't even realize you were codependent on. Okay. So I hope this resonates. I hope this maybe made you feel better or maybe made you feel worse. I'm not quite sure. However, I do want you to know that you can do this, that I believe in you, I trust you, and I want you to bring that faith and that trust into your everyday life. I want you to call upon your higher spirit, your God, that cosmic intelligence that's looking out for us. I want you to be resilient and brave and bold enough to understand that you can end cycles of harm, of abuse, of family karma that don't need to continue. Not now, not in your lifetime, not in the lifetimes that follow. This is how we create more healing, not through quick fixes, one day off, getting a massage. We create healing by literally destroying old cycles. And I know you can do this. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be more healing down the road or there won't be more aha moments. There will be. But for now, there's something that is holding you back. There is something that is trying to die that you may still be coddling. It's time to set it free. It's time to let go. It's time to step away from the distractions, from the people and the situations that are harming you, to be in the confusion, to be in the periods where you're lacking creativity so that you can be in a period of rebirth, so that you can be in a period of love, so that you can be in a period of thriving. I want that for you. I crave that for you. I really do. Okay. So I freaking love you. Let's continue to hang. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. If you want more dedicated attention from me, well, then you want to be on the Cosmic Channel. That's my membership. If you go to my website, daniellemercurio.com, right at the top, so pretty, the Cosmic Channel, you can become a member. We do live readings. There's workshops. We're working with the current cosmic energy. It's good stuff. And then I'm on the Instagram, which I am loving right now because I totally did a social media shift. And I'm choosing when I show up, not when I feel like I constantly need to show up. And oh my goodness, what a difference that's made for my triple Leo life. And I'm here for it. All right, I freaking love you. Share this out. Come hang with me on the Cosmic Channel. Follow me on Instagram because that makes me happy. And we'll call it a day. Love you.